Rock and roll.
All right, boys and girls and everyone else, welcome to Bingo is Life. The post-bingo podcast, live and in person from scenic downtown Harrisonburg. The city's so nice they had to name it 3 times.
Nice.
Joined by the fabulous Howdy Show brothers, Michael and Christopher.
It's good to see you here.
Nice to
Across
see you.
the table over here, the verified Dan Easley.
Hey there, what's happening?
All the way. I don't know, Dan, what's happening?
That's my new
That's your new
my new
thing.
catchphrase.
Oh,
My new tag.
All the way from
Hey
the other
there.
side of Court Square, we have Mum Shackles.
Hey.
That's her Christian name. Coming up shortly, we have a very special guest in the Silent Dave and Aaron chair.
Very good.
So how'd it go? Nobody won $100.
Wait a minute, who are you?
Oh, I'm Jay Zer.
Yeah.
I'm transitioning out of being the third best X-Men-a-Night stand-up comedian.
He moved to second?
Second or fourth?
I'm trying a whole new thing. Oh.
He's
Yeah, I'm
Catholic
going to become
now.
a prop
Okay,
comedian.
good.
Oh, no.
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top.
Mennonite
Oh, no.
Top.
Some rubber chickens. So anyway, did anyone win the $100 tonight?
We did not have a winner.
No, but the energy of the last winner was fantastic.
Yeah,
I believe her
yeah.
name was Sabrina, and she ran down the steps.
Yeah.
Wow.
And basically holding her card up high. It was beautiful.
Just
I
a
was
note.
walking by outside and I saw this because they were sitting at the table we're at right now.
Oh, cool.
And I saw them explode.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was.
There was a good vibe tonight.
Just for the
Yeah.
public good, I want to say we do not recommend running on stairs.
Thank you, Dan. Sure. That's
But-
what's happening.
Looking
today.
looking out for the public.
Yeah, with scissors though. We're all about.
Oh,
You run with those scissors, girl.
I keep
Get it.
forgetting to say we're live and in person in Ruby's Arcade.
Our sponsor, Ruby's.
Our
Thank you,
sponsor.
Ruby's.
This is the Bingo is Life live extravaganza we're talking about every Tuesday evening at 7:30. Every 7:30.
Every 7:30.
And Tuesday in the alternate universe.
If it's a Tuesday.
It was a wonderful crowd. It
was good.
and we
It was
had
good.
a lot of regulars, but we had a lot of new people, and a lot of people did that thing where when they left, they went, "Well, that was interesting."
Yeah, well, yeah.
which is what I'm shooting for.
I think we had a high percentage of first-time people.
Great.
And they were very pleased. So that's
They
always fun.
don't play bingo
They're
like
like,
that
well,
back in
yeah,
Walla Walla, Washington.
And we actually heard a conversation of someone up here in the upper level trying to tell their friend to come tonight. They were like, "You should be here," and they were explaining like, "Well, it's a," and they couldn't explain it very
It
well.
ain't
But
your regular ladies
just come over
auxiliary bingo. Yeah.
So everyone
That's
in the small audience group listening to us is getting geared up for the big Tom Petty tribute.
that's right.
Oh, that's right. It's happening. Oh man. And
That's going to be Friday. If you're listening live, it's Friday the 16th at
Pale Fire.
Pale
Yep.
Fire.
it's really coming together. I've sent out a couple emails, and we're gonna
Yeah.
have shirts, and
Yeah.
we have a new sound guy now.
Yeah.
We were gonna have one sound guy,
Oh, that's
but
always good.
he got picked up by Illiterate Light
Oh,
to
well,
go
yeah.
on tour with
Well,
them.
yeah, you got to
So
go.
we-
You got to go
so
with
we-
that.
New sound guy.
New sound guy.
Okay.
New sound guy. His name is Corey. I
Yeah.
do not know him, but I
Yeah.
think he's the same guy who did it.
Oh,
for the Laurel
for the Laurel
Canyon
Canyon.
show.
Isn't
Okay,
that the guy
good.
that's deaf and
He'll do a great job.
It'll be fine. And another good thing, Dr. Howe is just now learning the songs. So there you go.
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Oh, good.
And
I've performed mine 3 times in public, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
you know, I
Nice.
saw Cheryl. I saw that video you sent me of Cheryl and their band doing theirs.
It sounds better live.
Oh, it sounded great on the video.
That's awesome. That's who I'm playing with too. It's,
Oh, that's such a treat.
Yeah.
John and Rick Cash and Stan up on bass. The Gypsy Townies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been practicing in front of the mirror. I've got my
Good.
eyebrows synchronized with
Ooh.
various important words in the
Yeah,
lyrics.
have you been brushing
good.
them? They look
Yeah.
so lustrous.
Well, you know,
That's his hair.
No. Yeah.
So
It was a good line. Just nobody had a
Yeah.
good follow up
There
to
you
it
go.
at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
we'll circle
You're
back.
that close.
Please.
Oh, good.
Like
Yeah.
my eyebrows.
Can I say one thing about the Tom Petty show before we move on? If you want to go to this show, we definitely are suggesting people get there early. It looks like there's a lot of people that want to be there.
Around 36 hours before the event begins.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is only
Yeah.
going to discourage people
Well,
from
I just-
coming.
After this, I'm going over there to pop
Yeah.
up my tent.
No,
and
Yeah, right.
Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
It's interesting.
Is that a good problem?
I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be standing room only. I think get there early if you really want to taste.
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah.
if you're like, I'm
absolutely.
rolling in for a table, you're not gonna roll in at 7:00 and get a table.
Well, the last one of these was crowded, but everybody in that joint was having a great time, man.
Yeah.
That was a community there.
Yeah.
And that's
I think-
a community you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think we got a winner. I think we'll work it out. That's what I
Absolutely.
say. Just
Yeah.
but maybe come at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So let's find a connecting fiber here between that and our guest.
Well, our
Yes.
guest, let's bring in our very special guest, one of the best local songwriters you may not have heard of, Julia Cottrell
Woo-hoo!
from
Welcome
Amateur.
aboard.
Thank you.
And her entourage
Thank you.
from Amateur Rodeo. Her band.
They're back there.
They're back there.
Thanks so much for coming by on a late Tuesday evening.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm tickled that you guys even wanted me here.
Yeah.
We've been talking about figuring out when to get you for a while. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's cool.
Now you're going to be performing at Restless Moons
Yes, multiple
Saturday the
moons.
17th.
Yes, this coming Saturday.
Who's going to be down there with you?
We're gonna have Cheryl Sule down there.
That's the connecting fiber because
nice.
Cheryl
Yeah.
will be at the Petty Show, and
Yep.
then Cheryl's going to be at her show. So Cheryl's really going to
Busy
be very
weekend
busy.
for Cheryl.
Yeah.
Actually, one of our band members is going to be playing with her as well, Matt Collars.
Oh,
right.
yes,
I love
yes.
Matt. He's delightful.
Matt-
He's a beautiful person.
He's the
Yeah.
keyboard player.
Keyboard player, guitar, just general, keeper of the vibe.
He's a really tall,
Awesome.
he's a big guy. He looks like my son. Yeah, every time I see him.
You
I
should
think-
see his dad.
And I guess we should put in a plug for Michael and the Brats. They're going to be.
Daddy Sir and Sir Slur, the show happening on Friday at Restless Moons.
Opposite the Tom Petty show. If you get to the Tom Petty show
It's
and
the
just can't get in,
Yeah.
there's also a show going on at Restless Moons.
Which should be a lot of fun. I really appreciate Daddy Sir. That's Michael Palmer, who is in my phone as Daddy Sir.
Ah,
Nice.
So tell us about your musical odyssey. You first came to my attention when you won the Hot Mamas female songwriting, or what was it, a femme songwriting contest?
Yeah, no, that was last April. That was a lot of fun. I had seen the flyers around town, and I had thought, maybe I'll do this, and then naturally put it off because I'm a creative.
because that's
type.
what songwriters
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, and then I think it was when my dad had sent the email to me that I guess had been going around. They'd sent it to the School of Music at JMU, and then I was like, I guess I'll do this. And it was the day before the deadline, and I was sick and I didn't have a voice. So I knew what song I wanted to send, but I had to go through old recordings from, I think it was probably like 2016 was the recording that I sent in
Sweet.
to do that. And they said, yeah, come out. And I did, and it was a great night.
And you won. I don't.
How
I
many
wasn't
people were there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
How many other songwriters?
I feel like at least 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a big lineup.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it was good, and it was really cool. I think I didn't know what to expect when I went into that, and I think the coolest piece of it to me was just getting to see all of these other
Absolutely, yeah.
songstresses get up there and do
Yep.
their thing and hear their perspective, and that was the coolest part for me.
Yeah. Whenever there's like competitive songwriting, it's always a little weird. There's two sides of that coin because it's like
You're wearing the wristbands and the headband. You're getting in training.
You're
You're,
the best.
shadow boxing.
You're the best.
Yeah.
right. But yeah, like the competition thing is a little weird, but it does make people tend to kind of step up their game a little bit, which is neat. And then of course it brings everybody together to which is always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm really appreciative to the ladies at the Hot Mamas who I've continued to stay in contact and have done some stuff with them individually. It's been fun.
So do you go to JMU? Or you went to JMU? Or
I was about to be flattered. Do you think I'm still in school?
I have no idea.
No, I went to JMU in a somewhat staccato fashion, we'll say. But ultimately, no, that is where my degree is
We're
from.
throwing out music terms now.
That's a music
Nice.
term. That's a
Staccato fashion.
a shorter note.
I took
Ah,
a meandering
yeah.
route. We'll say that much.
Is it short repeating like? No, that's just
Not necessarily.
something else. Okay,
yeah, it's
never
just
mind.
a note can be short.
And so I have to say, this song that she wrote was an amazing song, East of Eden. I went home and I pestered her constantly on the internet to get the chords and lyrics, and then I recorded a silly version of it. But
I love his version. I love that track so much.
But Sean, she's moved. Okay,
That's the third James Dean movie is East of Eden, right? Out of 3.
That sounds
There's
about
Rebel
right.
Without a Cause. There's a Giant, and there's which was filmed in Keswick over in Charlottesville, and there's East of Eden. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, the
Next thing that really worked for you today.
Wow.
I was talking
Plate
to
and a
Sean.
half, and I took a nap, and now I'm ready to go.
Talking to Sean, who is the drummer for every band in town.
This is true. This is true. Including us.
Including the Amateur Rodeo, which is your newly formed group. And this song, he was when I first was telling him I was recording the song, he's, "Oh, that's a cover song." I was like, "Oh no, I thought it was. 'Cause it was so good, it couldn't have been her that wrote it."
Right.
And he was telling me he had to go down the list of your set list, and I put original and cover because they all sounded like songs that must have been written by somebody well known.
Well, that's quite the compliment.
That is a
Yeah.
compliment.
Yeah,
Well,
that is.
tell us about your influences for songwriting. I heard a lot of things when I was working on it.
That's a hard question. I mean, so I've been writing songs basically as long as I can remember. So I mean, I'm trying to think. Who did I listen to a lot when I was? I mean, it was nothing profound. It's not like, oh yeah, I was listening to Dylan in the first grade. Nothing like that. It just, I there were a couple of female singer-songwriters that I, encountered, I want to say when I was like 10, 11, 12, that made me go, hey, I want to do that. And I actually was cleaning out a spare room and found a bunch of old writings, including, from when I was in middle school, including, old songs. I think it's a stretch to call them songs, but they were structured as such, and I certainly thought they were back then. And it was really interesting, to see the evolution, because there's been a lot of evolution in terms of that. I mean, songwriting for me has always just been a therapeutic exercise. Like, a lot of times it was just like the pressure release valve on all of my mental health issues.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful thing.
it would just come.
Now, you'd mentioned running into Dan at Clifftop, and I know you're a fiddler as well, right?
That's a recent thing.
That's a recent thing.
So I was introduced to old time music. I think the first jam I went to was over at Restless, probably in March of 2022. And that was the first time I'd encountered that music, and I fell in love pretty quickly. And I've always have been kind of a little bit obsessed with the sound of like a violin or a fiddle or whatever you want to call it. But I had thought that because I didn't start when I was like 4 years old, that it was too late. And then I in September, actually on my birthday that year, I asked to borrow a friend's, and I've kind of never looked back.
That community of old time music, really, and it really is a
God.
community. It's astounding that, like, I met you and John over there. This is a larger fiddlers convention that's in West Virginia, in the middle of West by God, and it's like these things are like music festivals without a stage, essentially. As the people playing are the people who've shown up to hang out. So all jams at various campsites around all hours, 3,000 people, and at any given moment.
It's a magical experience. It really is.
Yeah. So, and what a community, and that here, I met both of y'all over there, and well, we probably live within like 5 or 6 miles of one another.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense that we were more likely to run into one another out there. And that's one thing I love so much about that. It's probably the thing I love the most about that music is the community that's built up around.
Oh, it's phenomenal. And like coming in, especially, I will say I've picked up fiddle pretty quickly, but coming in to like these spaces as somebody who's just starting to play this instrument that is, pretty notorious for sounding god awful. When you're first starting to play and for several years thereafter.
Yeah.
Very open and welcoming community, and the only person that made me feel embarrassed was myself.
Yeah.
And it's been phenomenal, and I feel like if I encounter folks in an old time circle, I already know they're cool, that much vetting is done. We're gonna be friends.
100%. You've played with Bruce Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No,
I think I probably have.
Yeah, no, you really have.
Yeah, no doubt.
He would go to the Restless Moons jam often.
Oh, yeah.
And I just caught that Marino's is opening back up under new ownership, and they have a jam on Tuesdays and on Fridays.
Is it new ownership or new
ownership.
management?
New management, I
Okay.
guess. Yeah, new management.
yeah.
But I mean, they're changing the menu.
Yeah,
They're going
sure.
I mean,
It's a little more bluegrass oriented, and we can devote a different episode to the how bluegrass and old
The
time
fist
are
will start
different
flying.
things.
I
Yeah.
thought you said this podcast only goes about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not long enough to have that argument.
Well, some supplemental episode at some point.
Tell us about the recording project that's going on, and talk just a little bit about the studio over at Tuning Fork, which is
It's
the
incredible.
Chet's, what's it called?
It is Chet's Bootleg Station, which I think is a phenomenal way to honor a really just bright light.
Did you
in the
know
local
Chet
community.
well?
I did.
So talk a
I
little
did.
briefly about that, because that's probably maybe people haven't heard about that in our our small listening podcast audience.
Chet Wade, who is a local deadhead, and I don't even know that I'm the right person to talk about him.
Well, you're the
because
one that's here
I
to
only
talk.
knew him very briefly, but he was just a phenomenal, just bright light of a soul and a person that I feel really honored to have been able to cross paths with. He was so supportive of the music scene. He was at every single show. And I, it's weird. It's weird to think that he's not, going to be there on Wednesday at open mic doing his little finger dance.
Yeah. So anyway, they named the it's a new DIY
recording
collaborative
studio.
recording studio at the Tuning Fork over there on Court Square. It's in the building that used to be Larkin Arts.
Okay, yeah.
Right there in the
Yep.
corner.
when you say DIY, I mean, is it like you go in there and you can use their...
Yes.
They've got
Do it yourself.
They've got a laptop set up. They're running Logic.
Okay, they're running Logic.
Yeah, they're running Logic.
And you
They've got a
you
laptop set up. All
They
the
charge
stuff.
per hour based on that. They're like, yeah, sure. You charge a little more if you want someone to do it for
Yeah,
you.
basically.
Smart.
No, that's
Good.
That's
That's good.
Sean down at the Tuning Fork. That's his baby, and I just think it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Such a cool thing to have.
Man, those guys are so nice.
Yeah,
He's really
want them to
he's
work it
really
out.
bringing people. I was in there checking out an accordion the other day, and this woman, 70 years old, pops her head around the corner, and she's an accordion player, and
Oh, she is. Okay.
like, what are the chances? This woman's never been in this shop before.
Right.
And I was telling Sean about it. Is this a sign from God to buy this accordion? And
Well, yeah.
he's like,
Probably
no.
was.
He's like, this happens all the time in the Tuning Fork.
Did you buy it?
No, I haven't bought it yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going in there.
Do
until-
not deny your God, Jay.
Aaron had a similar experience with the Tuning Fork and stars aligning with an instrument.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
What's that?
it was a clarinet.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny that I didn't make that connection until
So
just now.
maybe it's like a spiritual nexus that everyone goes to and finds their
everyone
instrument.
converges
Yeah,
that
you-
plays a certain instrument at a certain time.
Right, you just go there and see what happens.
Or is there just some 70-year-old lady hiding behind the corner, ready to go?
You
out and be
like
Ready to pop out.
I played the bouzouki.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I gotta say, when I was down there, it was I had me and Oliver walking around having a good time, and there was a handful of those wonderful, crazy downtown people. They're like,
Yep.
hey, and so I think Sean was in there.
There was that Jay's hair.
Jay was one of them, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I remember when I'm working at the grill for
It's
all
a
those
cool
years.
scene.
You just get these folks that maybe they don't. I don't know. They're just around.
And sometimes they pick up the electric guitar and they're like Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Jay, I think we met at the Tuning Fork.
One of the get-togethers.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still doing those.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
It's a real nexus of community, and
Well-
I appreciate that.
Well, tell us about the recording sessions you've had down. Is there anything happening with what you've produced from that yet?
So we're not doing that very intentionally right now. We've done a couple of just like dirty one mic recordings of the whole band together, and I will say they sound so much better than they have any right to, considering it is 6 people, sometimes including like a trombone, in one small room around one mic.
Yeah.
So you don't, I was thinking about this coming down here. You don't actually have a lot of product out there for us to plug, like go to Spotify and
don't.
YouTube and
product. Yeah, capitalist
Which
pig.
it's really
this is art, man.
Yeah.
Product.
But it's coming.
It is coming. It is.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and I'm
your
saying that.
band, a couple of your
Yeah,
band
right
members
down
are
there.
I was
right
gonna say,
behind
you
you.
probably should at least mention they're right there.
Give a
They're-
shout out.
This is. Oh, I thought we already did that. I'm sorry. I've got John Gallman and
Yeah.
Joby behind me.
Hello.
Our banjo player and our sometimes piano, often cello, sometimes penny whistle.
Wow.
Sometimes accordion player, Joby.
Ah, Joby.
Right on.
Nice glasses, nice hair. You can't see it, but I promise you it's all good.
Yeah.
Now, what
Glorious.
kind of style of music do you play? What category is that in?
So it's mostly it's centered around my originals, which I would put in like a singer-songwriter kind of Americana vein
Sure.
most of the time. But what's really cool to me about this project is, that's what it's centered around, but everybody is bringing their own influences,
Right.
Matt has a lot of blues influences that he brings. Joby brings some jazz, specifically some New Orleans jazz, because that's where he was for many years. He brings some of that influence. David also brings some jazz, which is cool. The project has ended up being a lot jazzier than I anticipated, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
cool. All right, I've got to ask because it's a dumb question, but I just throwing it out there. Music or lyrics first? We've been back and forth a little bit about this.
I go both ways.
All right.
The most recent song that I wrote, I actually had written the melody line and the guitar part to it. I want to say like last fall. No. It was earlier than that. It was around for a bit, but and I was like, oh, this is so pretty, and I was just waiting for like the right piece of emotional baggage to attach to it. And then
Perfect.
I got broken up with in October, and there it was.
Yep. All right, that'll do it.
Sweet. That'll take care of that.
There's entire albums, you're like listen to from the Elvis Costello's first album. You're like, who is the woman? Where is she?
Right.
Well,
Right.
when Linda McCartney died, I looked at. I think me and Mike both were like, Paul's going to put out another good
Yeah,
album.
right. Yeah, right.
I know. That's
You guys
so
are
much.
vultures.
Yeah, I know. Give us your pain.
Give us your pain, Paul.
It's
Paul.
what we want.
What do you write on? What instrument? Do you do piano for that or?
That's the first thing I started writing on because I took piano lessons as a kid and did not stick with them. I can do chords and that's about it. These days and for most of my life it's been guitar, and guitar was always just like a vehicle to back up the songwriting for me. I think it's only been in the last couple of years, honestly, since I started playing old time and playing in jams on a
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
basis that I've focused a little bit differently on guitar and tried to do something more with it.
More noodling around.
A lot more noodling.
A lot more noodling.
I love the one of my favorite quotes on the songwriting process is from Tom Petty, where they were asking him.
No.
Yes,
Tom?
They were asking him about his process, and he said something along the lines of, "I don't like to look it in the eye,"
Yeah.
which is so you don't want to like think about it, how you go about doing it.
So we're about to wrap this thing up, but I did want to say another piece on that Tom Petty thing is that it's laughable as we're learning these songs how much more complicated they are.
Oh,
Yes.
man. No
Yeah.
doubt. No
you
doubt.
Think,
Yeah.
you think, oh, Tom
What a
Petty,
simple
he's a
little
GC,
song.
He's a GC and D guy.
Yeah.
He's got
It's
this. But no, they are way harder
Yeah.
to play than you think.
Oh, I just got an email from Rick Cash, and he's like, "Oh, here's the lyrics and chords. Make sure we're on the same page." I was like, "Oh, I've been playing a G, not an E minor." And he's like, "Okay, cool." It seemed like a simple song, but it was not that simple.
Subtle but beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting. Saturday night, you're going to be playing at Restless Moons?
Yes.
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 It's going to be fantastic. These guys back here are going to be there. It's going to be
Amateur
wonderful.
rodeo.
Yes.
So everybody go out to Restless Moons on Saturday night. Friday night, come see our Tom Petty show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you guys want to
Yeah.
hear real quick how I met Julia?
Yes,
Yeah, sure.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a little fun kind of connection.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that took me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you hiding in a closet at the tuning fork?
Believe it or not, I was not.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not, I was at Court Square Theater. Who was shocked? It was, so we were kind of more religiously doing our B-movie bingo thing, and
Yes.
Julia was our patron who came to the shows.
Oh.
And so bingo, right? I mean,
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Indeed.
reached
It all
out to
comes full
Kayla
circle.
Yeah.
and was like, I love these things. They give me life because I love bad movie. I love all
Yeah.
sorts of bad content.
Were you there for Little Shop of Horror?
I was.
Yeah, we were there. I was there.
You were there with your dog.
Yes, I think I was. I was there with my dog.
Yep, there it is.
So that was how I ended up crossing paths with this whole situation. Was I came on to plug Jaws Boomy Bingo, and then they were like, "Do you want to come back?" And I was like, "Yes, please. I love this." So yeah, a little bingo connection.
Bingos happened everywhere.
Yeah.
So I guess we're wrapping it up. Thanks so much for Juliet, Catherine, for being down here.
Yes,
for
thank
the,
you very, very much.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
You too.
Good luck. I think we'll be hearing music in the background as we
Of
speak,
course,
maybe.
we will.
And
Here it comes.
Oh, good. It's not just me.
this is Bingo is Life, the podcast. Come down here for Bingo is Life in person, 7:30 Tuesdays at the fantastic Ruby's Arcade, our sponsor here in downtown Harrisonburg. And listen to us whenever you want to. What episode is this?
I believe we're at 52.
52. We're wrapping up.
I think
Okay.
it's 52, yeah.
Thanks so much. We'll see you all again next week, and have a nice evening.
Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun. And just when you thought it was safe to turn off the podcast, I'm back to tell you, Julia was able to share a song with us, and we wanted to give it to you so that you could take a listen. Here's Julia Cottrell and the Amateur Rodeo with a song they call The Epilogue. Enjoy.
We were just like children in the summer, Thank you.